Hello and welcome to the review of round 17 of Inside Ball. All thanks to the Clear Mountain stud, Kevin Walters and Ben Dobbin with you. We have some amazing news to get to very shortly. The Origin sides are named. We've got a huge announcement. The difference made his return yesterday in the rugby league world. We've got a lot to unpack this morning on Inside Ball. Kevin, hello, mate. Sorry we're abroad. You're about to go to Sydney. You're helping Cooper Cronk out by being the brains and the mindset to the podcast this afternoon on Fox.
Well, Matty Johns is stuck in PNG. He's up there doing some promotional work. So I've got to, they've rallied around Fox, and I'm the last one that can do it. So we're jumping on a flight after this, and we'll go and help out Cooper and his podcast, but we'll get ours done first, Dobbo. Plenty to talk about this morning, mate.
I'm going to start with the difference. The difference is the first thing. He played for South Logan 60 minutes yesterday afternoon for the South Logan Magpies. He scored a try. You were there. I know Adam Reynolds was on the way there. He said to me he was going to watch. There was a huge rollout. Take your dad hat off for the moment.
Yep.
Put your coach's hat on. How'd he go?
No, he went very well, Dobbo. First came back for Bill since the operation, the leg injury last year in the semi-final against the Raiders. He did some good things. He defended well and scored a nice little try. So, I'm not sure what the Broncos are doing this week with their selection of their sides, but I think he'd be ready for the NRL and to take on whatever commitments he needs to do that against the Sharks on Saturday night. But we'll see what happens with the Broncos.
They have to put him back in there. I mean, they've got injuries aplenty.
I did notice, Dobbo, because you're sitting on the ground virtually over there at Davies Park, and you could hear a lot of talk coming from Billy, which is a good thing. It's nice to hear your halves talking and communicating, which is a big part of playing in that position or any position in the NRL. You need to communicate well with your teammates and the people around you. That was one thing that really stood out to me yesterday with Billy, that his communication amongst these other players was very good. He looked a bit gassed after 20 minutes or so. The legs looked a bit tired, but that's to be expected when you haven't played for so long. And I'm sure he blew a lot of cobwebs out yesterday. So we'll see what happens on the weekend.
How did he get on the field with his brother Harry?
Harry was 18th man, so that didn't happen. But we still got some great photos to cherish the memory. Harry was in the jersey, of course, all laced up, but never got on the field. So
come on, Carmichael. Come on, Carmichael. You're better than that. You should have just played it for the sake of the history of both Walters boys playing together at Q Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, that's well done to the difference. I think he will be back in that side this week. I think they've got a lot of injuries and they need to start winning if there's any hope of even making the 8. And we will talk about that. Origin sides named. This was it. We'll start with New South Wales. They've dropped Brian and Tony Staggs, who was your Clear Mountain stud difference last week, and he's been dropped. A strange situation in the sense that they've brought in, obviously, and look, they're well within the right. Braddon and Best comes in. I'm very happy for the Dolphins and Inside Ball's very own Jack Bostock to make his debut for New South Wales. I think he was awesome for them. But I'm surprised Olakuatu comes onto the bench. Radley's now 20th man. Brayley's in for Coruscant. Kevie, as the Australian coach, your take on Laurie's decision with this New South Wales side coming to a decider in 10 days' time?
Yeah, I do feel for Tony Staggs. I feel there was... he's game 2. He'll put his hand up and say he wasn't at his best in game 2 in Melbourne, but he had a few mates as well. So Brian Toto as well has felt the axe, hasn't he, for Jack Bostock? And you can understand that one as well because the height that Selwyn Cobbo had over Brian was a real advantage for Queensland. They saw them exploit that in games 1 and 2. So they'd had enough, New South Wales. So they put Jack in, which I think is a really strong selection. Bradman Best is another one. And Steve Crichton are the new centres. Like Bradman Best has been in good touch the last 2 or 3 weeks with the Knights. And it's a team basically picked on form, Dobbo, isn't it? These guys have forced their way in. Steve Crichton was man of the match for the Bulldogs, last, was that Friday night, wasn't it? So they're all Mark Nwanga Nitawase in great touch. Payne Haas is playing well. So it's a very strong New South Wales lineup, Dobbo. And it's probably the strongest team that I've seen them select in this series. I think you'd agree with me. Blake Brayley back on the bench. No doubt Laurie Daly will use him in this game 3 tactically. I feel like he can have a really big impact on the game. And Ethan Strange is parked there as well on the bench. So it's a very strong bench, isn't it, for New South Wales? Cameron Murray, Vanua Blake, Olakau'atu, Blake Brayley, Strange, and Kohler.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
really
huge.
strong bench for New South Wales.
Yeah, I think they've got it right. It's funny, and the criticism on Laurie has been unfair in the sense that it's still tied at 1-1, regardless of how that is. So, if he can get it done in Game 3, which is a huge challenge, it's
Yeah,
been a success. Now, when we look at Queensland, some forced changes. Lindsay Collins failed his HIA. Now, he actually went in at half time and showed symptoms, so he was rubbed out. So he has been admitted because of the HIA that he copped
right.
from Friday night. Otherwise, the try-scoring front row wouldn't be there. Ready-made replacement, which is quite surprising, and this was a shock to me. Pat Carrigan comes into the squad,
Yeah,
has to pass a fitness test. He was right to go. I spoke to him on Friday night. Carrigan right to go. So he'll come onto the bench. Now, Finny Fuiaki loses his spot, and you can't keep them all. But Jeremiah Nanai's form on Saturday night against the Panthers, you had to have him matching that side. He was that good. He forced his way into the team. Other than that, it's 1-17. So
yeah,
in Queensland's defence, they've got a pretty stable, unified group. They go up there. Obviously, Carrigan has to pass that fitness test. Corey Horsburgh's the 20th man.
yep.
But I like the complexity. I like Nanai and Carrigan coming into that. And if you can get Carrigan fit for 20 to 30 minutes in Origin, our Game 3 decider, that's a big win for me.
That's a big win. And Lindsay Collins being out, Dobbo, is a big out for
Yeah.
Queensland. He's been a mainstay of that side for the last 3 or 4 years, Lindsay, and always comes up with some big Origin moments when he plays. When he's on the field, he scored a try last week, and there was some big moments in that game as well where Lindsay influenced the outcome. But Pat Carrigan can do a similar job to what Lindsay has done, the past few years, and be good to get him back into the side. Paddy, I saw him yesterday out at Davies Park, and he wasn't giving too much away. But it's good to see him back and in the side because he's a winner as well. And it is a very strong Queensland lineup. They've got great composure in their side as well, haven't they? For the decider, some Cameron Munster and Ponga and these sort of guys have been very good.
They're ready to go.
They're
ready to go.
So
they're ready to go. Yeah.
So you've got a Queensland team that's really balanced and ready to go, whereas this New South Wales side, some really good changes, which will give them some energy as well. It's going to be a terrific match, Tom. Obviously, we're both attending the game, but it's going to be a cracking Game 3. And
I can't.
Let's
not
not
wait.
forget the coach for New South Wales, Laurie Daly. Right, he played in a decider and won at Suncorp in '94. Now I was part of that series, and Laurie and his men came to Brisbane and got the job done. So he's experienced it as a player. And did you notice yesterday the 14 ex-Blues captains rally as well? Did you see that call to arms from Benny Elias? Gee, I thought that was a pretty smart move as well, where 14 ex-New South Wales either leaders or captains have rallied around Laurie and the team. I think it's a good move from Benny Elias. He's sneaky, that Benny Elias, isn't he? Coming up to Queensland, eh?
Backdoor Benny.
Yeah.
Backdoor Benny.
So, it's going to be a great...
It's going to be... Yeah, no question. We've got 10 days. We don't want to go up early. Queensland will go on their fan day to Rockhampton tomorrow. That's a big day for them. They arrive in camp at Twin Waters. The Blues are at Kingscliff for the week, so they're out of Sydney, that bubble, so they won't have all that media just around them the whole time. And then next Wednesday, Suncorp Stadium, 8th of July, it's on. We'll be previewing that, and obviously we've all got a lot to talk about that. We won't get ahead of ourselves.
No.
Now, the Clear Mountain Star difference, and I want to look, this is clearmountain.com.au. A first-class property and facility based at Greenmount on the Darling Downs. This is a superior horse stud. They are active in sales and auctions across Australia with quality horses. But if you are wanting to breed horses, or you've got a mare, or you're interested in racing, this is the place to go. You need to go online, give them a call. We are going to obviously have a horse in the next couple of weeks that we're going to announce that we want people to be a part of. But I can tell you, racing is such an enjoyable. I've raced horses for years and years. It's a great way with mates and family, and it's not what you see. You don't need to be paying millions and millions of dollars.
No.
You can get into a horse. It's quite cheap and reasonable. And, geez, you have some fun.
Yeah, Dobbo, what it also
Here's your,
does, it brings people together, doesn't it? And in a
community.
fun way,
Community.
So
I agree.
we've both owned horses and had so much fun doing it, and we'll obviously be part of this one as well. So, we'll get some more information out to all of our listeners and the like on how they can become involved in what is a very exciting prospect from Clear Mountain Stud. It's a brilliant way to get involved in a horse and have some fun.
Now, we have we'll get to the Clear Mountain Stud difference. We have a huge announcement on Inside Ball that we need to talk about right this moment. Before we get to the preview, I don't know how you were able to do this, Kevie, but you've managed to pull off one of the greatest junkets of all time that we are going to be attending. Look, every year I go to Vegas and every year we go to work. Now, you've been to Vegas once as a coach.
Yeah, missed
but
out
you
last
will
year.
be Inside Ball will be going to Las Vegas next year as part of the Inside Ball tour group. You will be leading and hosting a tour group for Inside Ball to Las Vegas for the round one, which is just quite phenomenal.
And we'll have some special guests with us over there as well, Dobbo. This is a fantastic opportunity for anyone who hasn't been to Vegas, or if you've been already. It's a wonderful week of rugby league, isn't it? The who's who of the NRL are there, and so much to do in Vegas as those that have been and those that haven't been. It's a great place to have a little holiday, catch some rugby league as well, and we'll be the entertainers, Dobbo.
Well, this is a phenomenal thing. So, in conjunction with Corporate Business Travel, CBT, Inside Ball is going to be taking a group, and we'll have all the information up online. But you leave on Tuesday, the 23rd of February from Brisbane. You depart, you go to Las Vegas via Dallas, then the fun begins. The live podcast, we've got a sportsman's lunch. We'll have Gordon Tallis, we'll have Adam Reynolds. We've got you and I over there. Obviously, there is a lot in the process, Fremont Street, and then the actual game. But, Kevie, you are taking this group. I will be over there. I unfortunately don't get to go on the actual thing. I'll be there, but we're going to be doing our live podcast with all the tour. Yes, we will have some beverage. Yes, we're going to have a lot of beverages. But it is something that we've always dreamt about. You're taking this tour group, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It is, Dobbo. And Vegas, those that have been, understand, how good it is over there. But also, we've got the rugby league. We've got all that Vegas offers with the concerts and everything, the excitement around Vegas. And also we do the Inside Ball podcast from there. And then we've got a lunch to do on the Friday.
A special long lunch on the Friday with Adam Reynolds, Gordon Tallis, Kevin Walters. I suppose I'll have to be the facilitator.
You'll be the host, mate. And
or the moderator.
We're going to have a good time. We're going to watch some rugby league and just enjoy everything that Vegas provides. So, jump online and have a look.
We'll have it up on we'll have a look at it. We'll have our package link there today. It is very good value. My wife could be the tightest financial person I've ever met. And when I showed her this last night, she goes, gee whiz, that's good value. $5,469 per person twin share to go on this is just quite phenomenal for what you get. The whole package details are there. Kevin Walters is taking Inside Ball to Vegas. Who would have thought? And we will be a part of it. And we want to take as many of our friends and listeners and fans, because it's an experience. It's more than just the rugby league. It's an actual experience. It's like Magic Ground on steroids. That's the best way I can put it. It is just a phenomenal, phenomenal experience. I've been lucky enough. I've done so far all four of them, or three installments, sorry. And we're going for the fourth installment, and I'll be there. And look, from calling the games to coming and having a look at the stadium, which is just unbelievable, to having the long lunch, to seeing the podcast, to being involved, and let alone you've got Kevie taking you as your tour leader. That's what I like more about it. So we will make sure that all those details are up for everybody, but we are really proud to announce. And obviously we will be talking, and there'll be people going, that Inside Ball is going to Vegas next year, which is going to be quite phenomenal. Kev, let's talk about round 17 because it was a really, really good round of football.
Yeah.
It started on Thursday night. Souths were just way too good for the Eels. We both predicted that, but Wayne's men, boy oh boy, aren't they? Aren't they just starting to make a statement in this competition?
Well, they are.
Still not at 100%, but still getting the job done.
That's right, Dobbo. A couple of big names still to get back into that South Sydney side. You know, Latrell Mitchell's still not there. Jack Whiten's still not playing. So there's just a couple. There's a few more just parked there ready to go as well. It was a much needed win for South. They need to stay and continue their winning ways to stay in the eight. There's a real scramble now, Dobbo. We've
Isn't
got
there
one
what?
Origin game left, and then we set the race home for the finals. And there's still a lot of teams in contention, in my opinion, to make the eight. So winning through this origin period is really important. And South, well, they don't have any more buys left either. So they've got a pretty long stretch into the finals if they are to make finals, which I believe they can and
Yeah.
will. But they've got 10 games or 9 games in a row now without a rest and then into the finals.
Bulldogs too good for the Titans. This was one-way traffic, and the Dogs have won 3 in a row now. And they're not pretty at the moment by any means, but they are finding a way to win. And that says that there is something there. I don't think they make the eight. I'm just going to say that I don't think they make the eight, but I like a lot of what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And that win against the Titans was a strong win. It was pretty comprehensive in the and I've got to be honest with you, I'm concerned about the Titans because they go 2 steps forward, then 3 back. I thought they were very poor on Friday night. I just didn't. They just could not get into their rhythm. But the Dogs were very strong.
Yeah, they were strong and led by Steve Crichton. He was the man of the match spot. He had a terrific night out in the 6 jumper. Silenced a few of the critics, and particularly, I was one myself, not so much a critic, but Kenny handled the 6 jumper well. He proved everyone
Did it
that
easy.
he could.
Did
He
it
did
easy.
it easy. And they just sit 2 points out of the 8, don't they, with 9 rounds to go. So you've got them going to Koh Samui, have you? Haven't got them playing finals football?
No, I haven't. And I'm going to talk about that at the end of this, after this wrap, because Koh Samui, I've got some travel agents' numbers that I'm going to pass on to some teams by the end of this. This game Friday night I called the Roosters win, 24 points to 18. They were absolutely 100% the better side.
Yeah. The second half from the Roosters, Dobbo, was the clean
Way
sheet.
better.
First half, they were a bit scrappy, and Brisbane
18-12 at halftime.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, Brisbane, like the Grant Anderson try was lucky, but you know what? They'd done enough and the effort was there. But the Roosters just squeezed the life out of them in the second half. Sam Walker, mate.
What about his performance? Man of the match. And not so much with the ball, but defensively, saved 2 tries back to back. A leg tackle. I think it was Ricky Preston Ricky.
Yeah, Preston Ricky. Yeah, and mate, then, he was unbelievable, mate. He was unbelievable.
Then Corey Pakes went out a dummy half the next play. He managed to get underneath him and hold him up as well. So, yeah, he's in great touch, Sam, and he'll take that into Wednesday's Origin. The Broncos were better. I thought they tried hard and they competed well, but just that second half from the Roosters where I think they only had 1 handling error or 2 handling errors, and they kicked the ball into the corners and just made the Broncos come off their try line continuous, which is real semi-finals football.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a show of the Roosters' strength as well, in that game. So,
spoke to Trent Robinson post-match, really happy with the style of football that they played against the Sharks. We just needed to get a win. They'd had 3 games in 10 days. They're senior players. They are cooked. They have a bye now. They can rest. They can get away from it. They're in a very, very good position, the Roosters, at the moment. A good win. For the Broncos, Xavier Willison gone. He won't be there this week. Obviously, Carrigan and Walsh have origin duties. My understanding is that there's going to be a lack. Reynolds is no guarantee of coming back into that side this week. Mann won't be there either. So they've got some troubles this week in trying to field a side, in the sense that there's a lot of players who are still injured and unavailable. They do get Katoni Staggs, which they wouldn't have banked on, back into their side. So they take on the Sharks on Saturday night at 7:30. So that game is obviously very crucial.
I just want to make a special mention there, Dobbo, of Payne Haas. He was the captain of the Broncos side. Friday night. What a skipper's knock he put together.
Yeah.
16 carries for 183 metres and 42 tackles in 80 minutes of football. That's a super effort from Payne Haas.
It
So
certainly
everyone,
is.
if they had his attitude, Payne Haas, any player, it gets you a long way, doesn't it, down the
Yeah,
track
you're dead
to be
right.
successful.
You're dead right.
Righto.
Saturday's game was the match of the round, in my opinion. I covered this game.
Yep.
Dolphins 26, Warriors 24. I'll give you some news straight away. This is hot off the press. Oren Keeley has left the Dolphins effective immediately and will join the Melbourne Storm. Now, he was contracted, Oren, to go to the Storm next year. He'd signed there. Struggling to find his way into this side because of just the sheer depth they've got. The Melbourne Storm have secured Oren Keeley. That has just broken as we are speaking and doing this
Right.
podcast. So Oren Keeley will lead the Dolphins. He was a foundation Dolphins player as well. So
Yeah.
he's left to go to the Storm. Great signing for the Storm because he's a bloody good footballer.
Oh,
Really good footballer.
I really like him as well,
Yeah.
Dobbo, as a
Yeah.
player. He's really tough and gritty and
Yeah.
quite skillful as well.
Yeah.
He'll go straight into that Storm. What a bonus for the Melbourne Storm to get him
Yeah.
before the cut-off
Thought I
for this
thought.
year. So,
Yes. So,
well
but
done.
let's talk about this game. It was semi-final like. Now, Katoa has gone for 4 to 8 weeks with a fractured wrist.
Yep.
He sees a surgeon today, but the Dolphins showed some absolute unbelievable resilience. I can't split these two teams because the Warriors didn't play that well at stages. Either the Dolphins, both teams showed a lot. It was semi-final football, and the difference was Selwyn Cobbo, who had made 3 errors coming out of yardage, knock-ons in a row, and still had the confidence when given the opportunity with a minute 40 left to put a right foot step on and score a try from 25 metres out. He was unbelievable again. Geez, he looks happy, but they're lining up the players. Morgan Knowles, unbelievable. Max Plath, Kurt Donahue, Herbie Farnworth, Selwyn Cobbo, Cody Nicarima. They are in a absolute sweet spot at the moment. The Dolphins 4020. Get your tickets ready, baby, because you are going to the semi-finals. They are a real title threat, and they will score, and they fear no one. Kev, they fear no one at the moment.
Well, that's what they built, that trust amongst each other. Over the opening rounds of the competition, haven't they? They've been very impressive, and they've got strike, Dobbo, too. On their edges with their edge forwards and also their outside backs. It's hard to find a weakness in this Dolphins lineup, and they're led well up front with Tommy Flegler. He leads the way, through the middle, and they've got, international middle forwards supporting him, and then the back line is as good as anyone in the competition. So, they're looking for a good run into the finals. I expect them to make the top 4, Dobbo, the Dolphins, and have a real challenge against the likes of the Panthers and the Roosters and the Warriors, who we no doubt they'll cross each other's path again in September.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now, this game was a cracker as well. Jason Tamalolo's 300th. It was 10-all at half time. It got to, with 17 minutes, it was 12-10 to Penrith, 17 minutes to play. North Queensland won 26-12. Now, great try from Jeremiah Nanai. But if the Cowboys play like that, if they can be consistent like that, well, mate, they could win the comp. They were brilliant. And they pressured Penrith. And it's the first time I've seen Penrith rattled all year. They were genuinely rattled. And that's the template. Now, I know they have trouble against the Cowboys all the time, Kev, but this was a real message to the NRL that Penrith can be beaten.
It certainly was, mate. And they actually took it to it from the kickoff, wasn't it? You see the kickoff, Moses Leota charged into the Cowboys' defence and he went backwards.
Yeah, got the ball, knock on.
Yeah, so a real line in the sand moment for the Cowboys, and they continued it on for the rest of the game. So with terrific win, that's their best win this year, Dobbo.
Am I right in saying that we probably underestimated how good this Thomas McKaylee is? He's a huge body. And Elliot Lovejoy, I work with on the Rush, has been talking him up for a while. Mate, this guy is a good footballer, big. They've got big forwards, mate. And Tom Alolo, well done. He's 300. He's breaking every record. But his form even this year has been unbelievable. So I like that. They had no Dearden. There. You're still dealing with no Dearden there. But, geez, Nanai and Lukey on the edges. You want to talk about a dangerous competition.
They got some punch, got some speed in the outside backs. Very good side.
You just talk about the DNA. Reed Marnie, scrapper.
Yeah.
Reuben Cotter, scrapper. Yeah. Tomalolo, McKaylee. Then you talk about those edges in Nanai and Lukey, and then you go out the back line. That Jackson Purdue, he could be anything.
Yeah.
Tom Chester's been unbelievable. Nanai, Drinkwater,
Yeah.
Clifford, they're a very good side. Consistency's been my concern with them, and I've got to be honest with you. I've written them off at different stages this year and said they're wrong. I'm not
You're
prepared
back on.
to do that. Well, I'm
Right.
just not prepared to do that. After what I saw on Saturday night, I saw a team that on its day can beat anyone. And so that's where if they can get their consistency right, look out.
Yeah,
Look
definitely.
out. And it's a bit like this next team. Manly, 30 points to 4. Gordon Tallis said yesterday on the sim bin, but it was the best 20 minutes he's ever seen by an edge forward to start off with in Ola Kawadu, who just came out and absolutely destroyed him in that first 20 minutes. But you can't say anything more other than with Tommy Turbo in there. Now, they did lose Luke Brooks to an ACL, but they've got Joey Walsh, so they've got depth there, so that's all right. But you're dealing with a very, very good football team in Manly. And they are going to challenge as well. The real players are starting to put their hands up.
Yeah, Olakau'atu certainly sent a message to Laurie Daly and the selectors about his form and his must-need inclusion in, games Origin 3 up here. They're a good side, Manly, and Kieran Foran's done a terrific job getting them back into not only the top 8, but also playing some very good football. At Four Pines Park, they're a terrific side to watch as well. They've got a bit like those previous teams that we've mentioned with their speed and their skill level, and big forwards that, can create some space for their clever and speedy outside backs. It was a good performance by Manly. And the Storm, well, they suffered another loss, which something that they didn't need either through this Origin period. But, let's take our hat off to Manly, dip our hat. That was a terrific performance.
It certainly was, and one that I think we all really enjoy. Raiders 24 over the Dragons 16. This was a bludger of a game. Ricky needed a win. He got a win. I haven't got a lot more to say than other than Simi Sasangi was good, but boy, oh boy, it was hard viewing. It was hard viewing.
Well, Ricky said that after the game. It was ugly, but he'll take the ugly win this time of the year, which keeps their slim finals hopes alive. And for the Dragons, well, they competed hard again. A couple of decisions went against them, but they're just in a rut at the moment, the Dragons. But all this is a good learning experience for their young forwards, for years ahead. But this season, obviously, a write-off for the Dragons.
Knights 12, Tigers 6. No try in the second half. The 60-second no try to start the game.
That was amazing.
Unbelievable. But 10 wins for the Knights so far. And you want to talk about a good job, Justin Holbrook?
Yeah, fantastic.
Great job. Job. He's doing a great job. They're rolling. They are rolling along nicely. They're finals bound. That's how, they are finals bound.
Again, they've got, classy players in those key positions. Got a strong forward pack, and then Kalen Ponga is leading the way. Whilst he's on the field, they're going to be a side that's hard to beat, Dobbo. Bradman Best doing his stuff. You've got Brown there as well, who's playing some great football. So, they're a side not to be messed with as well.
Okay, let's look at the 8 after round 17. Now, I'm going to say the Penrith lead the competition. They've had 2 buys. Warriors in second, Dolphins in third. Warriors and Dolphins are on equal points, along with the Roosters and along with Newcastle. So there's second to fifth are all equal points and all had the exact amount of buys. They've had 10 wins and 5 losses for the season. Now, Manly sitting in 6 on 9 wins. South Sydney are in 7th, but South Sydney are the only team out of all that have had the 3 buys. So it's a little bit, and along with Cronulla as well, who have just had the buy this weekend, they're on 22. Now, if you look at the Cowboys have had more wins. So the Cowboys truly, if you want to look at it, should be in 7th position because they've only had 1 win.
Yeah.
Now, then this is the challenge that everybody has, is that 22, that Canterbury, West Tigers, Melbourne are all on 18 points. And then you've got the Broncos, Canberra, Parramatta on 14, and the Gold Coast and the St. George Illawarra on, at this moment, on 12 and 6. Okay, Kev, this is a huge call, I know. But I think I'm going to go this far at the moment.
Well, I'll let you do the predicting.
I think the minor premiers from last year in the Canberra Raiders won't make the 8. I think they're going to Koh Samui.
Right. You got the Broncos and
I think the Broncos and the Melbourne Storm that were last year's grand finalists won't make the 8. I think we're going to see a situation where the
Top
minor
4.
premiers, the grand finalists, and the top 4 in the Bulldogs all won't make the 8 the year after in 27, in
Wow.
26, which is huge. Now, I could be wrong. I think Melbourne might, if they can go on a run, Melbourne are the ones.
Yeah.
I can't see Brisbane getting there because of just the for and against and what they've got to do. I don't think Canberra can do it. And the Dogs, well, they're grinding, but I think they're too far back. I can't. I think this is good for the comp. Don't get me wrong. I think it's wonderful for fans that there's other sides in the 8. But
Yeah.
if you win the comp, or you're in the grand final and you don't make the 8 the next year, that is a failure of the season for me. That is me. They're my words, and I think that there's going to be some soul searching from some of these clubs who had, because I had Brisbane winning the comp this year.
Well,
I had Brisbane winning the comp, and I think I even had them playing Melbourne again, or potentially the
the
Dolphins. But
Panthers.
yeah, the Panthers. But I can tell you this now: the Dolphins are right in the mix there, and it's an interesting way this is looking now, moving forward. All right, well, Kev, that's it from us here. The Clear Mountain Stud Inside Ball podcast. We appreciate you giving us some time this morning, and we'll catch you again on Wednesday as we preview what will be a huge round of 18. That's right, 18, and it's Origin Week. Kevie, look forward to seeing you with Cooper Cronk this afternoon on the podcast. Have a good one, and remember, we'll have all the details. We're going to Vegas. Kevy's going to Vegas. All right. We'll give you
There
all
we
the
go.
details. Till next time. Have a great day. See you later.
Righto.